so. Look how you ugly so. Look how you ugly so. You're ugly from a long, long time ago. Look how you born so. See how you grow so. Look how you born so. See how you grow so. Look how you ugly so. Ugly from a long, long time ago. Look how you start so. Watch how you reach so. See how you born so. Watch how come you grow so. Look how you ugly so. Ugly from a long, long time ago. And it's your wicked ungodliness that make you so. You're ugly so. It's your wicked ungodliness that make you so.
Good morning, people. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know the voice. Y'all know the sound. James Wilbur Williams, DJ exclusive, DJ X3C is in the building. Hope everybody is having a good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned. Like it or not, it's coming up next, y'all. Good morning, everybody.
You're off to red eye and your mouth favor hungry dog. You have a evil dust plan and you feel you go try your luck. You get stuck. You build up and you build up and you build one up to break one down. You have a big long tongue where you're all over solid ground. We are going to you around here.
Good morning, everybody. Moonmeat, William Moore, good morning. Roller Dragon, John, Tyler Hackner, good morning, y'all. Good morning, Mom and Daddy. Love y'all, mean it. Special happy birthday to my niece who turned 23 today. Ooh. I'm so old. My niece is half my age. Lord Jesus. Happy birthday, Tajay. Love you, mean it. Nat, hey, good morning.
Is your fall on cleanliness that have your people so say you're ugly so is your bad on cleanliness that make you shuffle so say you're bald so hey look how you're ugly so look how you're ugly so I don't know look how you're ugly so you're ugly from a long, long time ago.
Amber Layla, good morning. Shout out to everybody wherever you're streaming at this morning, be it YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Good morning across all the platforms, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, like it or not. It's going down. Good morning again, everybody. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, comment, and share with a friend. Invite them on over to see what the hell we talking about this morning.
But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you.
Tiger, good morning to you. Cardi Wynn, good morning.
But that poison's gonna kill you from the inside out. So right now, say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now. I'm free, can't nobody take.
Diligence, good morning.
I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time to run it out. It's your time. Oh, cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the
Here's the Manassas, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you.
Boy, the coffee is coffeeing this morning. Ooh. Win Singapore, good morning. Infinite content. What's going on, bro? Oh, you are welcome, Tajay. Yo, my niece, she's watching. Good morning, Tajay. I love you. I hope you have the best day ever, baby.
Can't nobody take me here and
ATL Country Boy, what's going on?
It's my time to ride. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's my time, oh. If you're on the bus, say yeah, yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah, yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah, yeah. Everybody's going somewhere, yeah. Young or old, I really don't care, yeah. Life has never really been fair, yeah. So put your fist up in the air, yeah. Say yeah. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride.
Infinite content, most definitely. I will be at the next one.
Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's my time, oh. Baby, you set my
Nicole, how good morning to you.
every morning and every evening. And maybe we can't get any higher. But if you like to take a ride, we can discover what we're hiding. Making you move, it sure looks good. Playing it cool like you know you should. Put on a smile that's one of a kind. And I can't get you off my
Lily, good morning, Lily.
I'm running too hot, I need to cool me down.
Quar. I know I said your name wrong, but good morning to you. G-Man, good morning.
I'm running too hot, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so high, I don't see the ground.
You know, I would love to get paid to sleep. It would be a dream job.
Every morning and every evening. And maybe we can't get it.
Shade Dragon, good morning, Shade.
But if you like to take a ride, we can discover what we're hiding. Taking your time and I sure don't mind. But every inch of my body's getting wild, wild, wild. The way that you move is like a love machine. Come be my king and I'll be your queen. I'm running too high.
Yeah, that makes me feel good.
Flying so high, I don't see the ground.
Caleb, good morning to you.
I'm running too high, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so high,
Elizabeth Lawson, good morning.
baby, you set my soul on fire.
Oh, y'all, let me tell y'all about some of my investment plans that I've been working on so far. So I've started investing in stocks. So yeah, stocks. I said it right. I need to get in on this money. First chicken, then beef, now vegetable. Despite the potential risk, I believe one day I will be a billionaire. Damn. Craig, good morning. Andy, good morning, Andy. Shout out to everybody over there at Twitch, man. I love y'all, my Twitch family. Here go infinite content with them damn tomatoes. Very good morning to you.
right place to move. In the right place with you. Always stay up all night. Watch the neon light.
Okay, I thought it was just me. I caught all of that buffer. So I'm making a new documentary on how to fly a plane. We're currently filming the pilot. A thief broke into my house last night looking for money. So I got out of the bed to look with him. What do you call a belt made of $100 bills? A waste of money. I'm creating an app to find qualified electricians in your area. It's called WhatsApp. I asked my wife what she wanted for her birthday. She replied nothing would make me happier than a diamond necklace. So I bought her nothing. I don't know what's going on. We're good on this side. Doesn't look like we have any issues. I think the Fed's watching. That's what it is. Lawrence Joseph, good morning to you. Josh, they're saying that we have some constant buffering going on, Josh. You see any issues on the back end back there? B, good morning. I'm watching the stream right now on my phone, and it looks good so far. No buffering, no wheel spinning. Just a lot of crazy people in the chat room. Okay, thanks, Josh. Josh said he got it fixed. Josh in the background. Shout out to Josh again. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. The Queen is in the building, so it is time to get down to it. But before we do, just read an interesting fact, and you may have heard this before. Bruce Lee had a vegan brother, Broccoli.
Hey, man, yeah, it's the summertime, right? Let's get it like or not. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. Yeah. Like it or not, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going down.
Rebecca Zora's in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture, a real life is I live in life in the ATL. Benjamin, yeah, that's my man. She's always coming up with the master plan. Politics, dreaming, trying to find a meaning in life. While the feds keeps us astray.
I am your DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. I stay dropping them jams.
Good hope, dad jokes, culture is politics. What's here right now is the culmination of all of this. I started out with the mic in my hand, and I ended up with the plethora of fans. I love bringing joy to the people. It makes me feel.
I feel that I need to make a visual for this, like Beyonce.
Let's go. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going down.
Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. It's
right here, Josh. Here we go.
Let's start this damn show.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. I just literally ran to my
picture on my mirror. I start to blush when your body
Oh,
feels my
that's what I
name.
did. See you walk in my direction, I go the other way. You got to
Hey,
sing
back up.
in her voice. In her voice.
Right.
I start to stutter when you speak. Yeah, I literally just ran here because I was trying to make some tea. The tea is literally mild. It ain't even hot. It's a lot happening. Let me adjust everything so I can make sure. Anyways, good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to Like It or Not. Ooh, Lord.
Where we're free to tell the
Oh,
truth.
well, we're free to tell the truth.
Not Kim who doesn't like it.
I apologize, y'all. Oh, it's been a morning for me.
Had to been a morning, child.
Yeah, it's been a morning. But what's going on with you, Bubba? How are you?
I'm good, child. I'm sleepy, but
Oh my
I'm here.
God.
So I hit the
Listen.
snooze button too many times this morning.
Listen, I get it. Rough start to my morning. I feel like my camera's a little lean to the left, but you guys will be just fine. Okay, y'all gonna be
Exactly.
just
It's got a
fine.
gangster lean to it, but it's
Oh,
okay.
it's been I worked long hours, and this morning I had to get myself together, and this is what y'all got. This is what y'all got. Soccer mom, Bobby, sit down. Sit down.
Girl, go away.
Yeah. Anywho. Damn you, soccer mom, because that's what y'all gonna get. The one that used to be at Freaknik with these type of earrings. That's what y'all gonna get. Okay, this is what you're getting this morning.
And then I ain't even noticed the hat until you said something about. I'm like, ooh, I'm about to light that hat on fire, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay because I have good news. We have good news about your HBCU actually on today's show. Well, hopefully we do. I did drop it in the chat. Even if we don't have it, I will discuss it because I think it's really a good story to talk about. But before we get there, do you have any stories to tell? Because it's been your story week. So you have any stories to tell before we start the show?
No, child. I will say, hey man, if you're having, not even if you're having mental health issues, but if you need someone to talk to, make sure you reach out to that hotline, 988-988 from your phone. Somebody's always out there to help y'all. Even if y'all want to DM one of us and say how you feel or anything, we'll talk to you. You know, just don't go out there. Don't feel like you're out here alone. All right. And I think that's it for me because
It's been a tough time. And
right.
Yesterday's conversation actually okay, gotcha, Josh. Yesterday's conversation actually was I loved it. The start of the morning. I know we didn't plan on going that route to mental health, but it's a lot happening. Economic hardships are now on the rise. I mean, it ain't like people weren't suffering with economic hardships at that time, but I mean, inflation is at its highest. Even the projected amount, I think, is supposed to be the percentage is like at 9.1%, and that's over the projected amount that people thought for this month that inflation would have an effect on people. So now we're sitting here, and I've seen a lot of conversations happening in the online world, in the online community, where people were just, sharing their stories about how inflation is affecting them and causing mental health stress on top of people continuously, and rightfully so, worrying about COVID-19. So
and I will say, Rebecca, as well too. I do have a small story, just to show you how messed up everything really is. These people are out here telling you it's jobs out here, get these jobs, all this money, blah blah blah. It's really gaslighting, because here it is. I have a friend that just started with the company, probably working now, probably not even a month. So this week they just get a conference call or a meeting alert, and for the whole company, they pull them into this meeting and basically tell them that they're going to be laid off. Then gave them the rest of the day off, and then they bring them back the next day, and so they can give them their date, and so they can continue training, and basically tell them that your last day is going to be April of next year. So now I have to worry about a looming deadline of, I just got this job and you're already about to lay me off.
Wow.
And they're not even talking about people that's been there. The training class, they only been there for a few weeks. The trainers that's been there 15, 16, 17 years, and they got the same layoff date as the people that just started. So it's one of those things, man. It's like y'all out here, And now the mental health thing is more and more prevalent because now I have to worry about what I'm gonna try to do for money or income. Granted, she told me till April, but now I still have to have this in the back of my head that
So you're
I'm going to be
included
laid
in
off.
that number.
Like not me, but one of somebody I know.
Oh, because I'm like, because
Yeah,
you're speaking in their voice. Okay, because I'm like, I'm
yeah.
looking, I'm like, so you're included into that number too? Oh
Oh yeah,
no, but
no.
no.
It it
Okay.
it just really sucks, and I hate it for him because it's just like fought everything hard, put everything on the back burner for this job, only for them to tell them that you're about to be laid off in April.
Yeah, and that is a many people's stories right now, especially because things are changing due to so many things being expensive, and different companies and different people are having to no longer be able to work at the job, or employers are having to fire these employees or lay them off, with no foreseeable future in coming back to the job, or getting their jobs back because gas is too pricey. Some people's I've read stories of people's cars being repoed, just because they weren't able to pay it within that month. And I think now it's a trigger word. It's
Yeah,
almost like when you say economic hardship, it's almost like they're like, this again. Like we already had
right.
COVID as a hardship. Now we're having, even though economic hardship has always been a thing, but because we're at the highest of inflation and they don't want to have the conversation, they don't want to talk about right now being they don't want to talk about in this moment being a recession. They don't want to utilize that word. And so here we are with the CNBC report. Okay, so
Yeah.
according to a new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, U.S. inflation rose to 9.1%, as I mentioned, in the month of June, well above the previous estimate of 8.8%. These latest figures mark the fastest pace of inflation growth since back in November of 1981 or in
That's great.
2022. For a breakdown of the inflation rates, experts point to the most crucial factors. The bulk of the inflation rise came from gas prices, which increased 11.2%, electricity, which rose 1.7% and 13.7%, respectively, followed by new and used vehicle prices that rose 0.7% and 1.6%. Additionally, the cost of medical care went up by 0.7%, specifically highlighted by a 1.9% increase in dental services.
Mm.
Dental work. We need that. I seen people getting deposit veneers, and we can't go that route.
Child, ooh,
Meanwhile,
and they're fool too. Ooh,
listen. Meanwhile, airfare was the only industry that saw a decline as prices fell 1.8% in June
pause.
and still are unaffordable.
Did they say airfare decline?
Yeah, but
Because
I can say that it did from the previous month because
from the previous month. Okay.
it's still expensive. But I can't lie. In June, I mean, I saw some prices fall, like maybe a couple 20s, $40, $50 here, whatever the case may be. But it didn't fall to pandemic prices. The early pandemic prices didn't fall that way. But although, as the prices fell 1.8% in June, it's still up 34.1% from a year ago. That's
Damn.
for airfare. Okay, so I needed to be clear on that. As far as for food, meat, poultry, fish, and eggs, they also fell, tracking a decline of 0.4% in June, but still up 11.7% from this time last year. So, I
So
mean, we're
crazy.
seeing a fall, but it's not. We can't. It's an unnoticeable fall. Why? Because it's still higher than it's ever been. Right? It's still higher than
Yeah.
it's ever been. And so now, we're looking at all these different factors. The gas price, which has gone up the most, which is they're saying that is the most prominent point in inflation as of now. We utilize, especially in areas where it takes us more than 15 minutes to get to our jobs, to get to our offices. Not and our office is not the only stops along the way. Sometimes grocery stores are not in the 15-minute range. They sometimes are 30 minutes out, depending on where you live. Sitting in traffic, having your gas burn, that is a thing. All of that is a thing. having to go pick up your children from wherever their schools are or wherever their daycares are. And Atlanta, we understand that is not, oh, we can just get up and go down the street and come back home. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. With traffic, with constant construction, with having to move your child's daycare or school near where your job is, and sometimes you aren't at work that day. There's so many different factors that go into it. Or you're the most affordable daycare or grocery store is not 15 minutes away. That's the one in the next city.
Right.
Here we are with so many different scenarios, but all to say that we are indeed in a recession. I don't care what side you're leaning
exactly
towards. Front, back, side to side, right, left, in the middle, in between, red, blue. I don't care what set you rap. It is affecting you.
It is. You can say all you want. That is not. It's affecting you.
I was literally on when we talked about this on the Hill, there was a lady on there. And I cannot remember her name to save my life. We're always on together too. And I try my best not to kiki her down. But we're on there, and I'm saying, hey, this is what we're going through. This is what this is what many Americans, and I think it's 2/3 the American, are suffering from when it comes to inflation, when it comes to rising prices and mostly everything. And I am 2/3 the American. So we were discussing that. And I was, talking about how my mother, because we didn't talk about housing prices on here, and the housing prices are also affected in within inflation as well. But I was talking about how my parents' homes, their mortgage went up, and their mortgage it's been the same, y'all. Their mortgage has gone up almost like the rent of an apartment. And so I was like, oh, nah, they're having to struggle because my mother doesn't have any hours for work. My father is working too many hours now and still not getting paid what he should get, what it's his worth. And then, he can't get not unemployment, Social Security, because they're offering him way less. They told him if he sticks on the job for 6 more years, then he can get $300 more. And that bothered me to my core. But I say all that to say, I was talking about that on the show. And the woman, as I'm saying, groceries, my parents' mortgage, rent, gas, everything just seems to be too high. Airfare. When I was just talking about all that, she says, I can't even buy a Tesla in this economy.
I can't even buy a bike in this economy. I can't even buy a pair of shoes in this economy.
Said, here are her two issues. I can't even call her sis because ma'am, she said a Tesla, and I can't even afford to go on vacation in this economy. Oh my God. Yeah, Rebecca, what she said, because she kept calling me she. What she said that we're all suffering, and it's true. I can't buy a Tesla. Can't even do that. I can't even go on vacation with my family in this economy. I said groceries, rent, gas, mortgage, rent again, FL. Ma'am, you're talking about Teslas and vacations. So again, everyone is affected by this, but we're all affected in different ways. It's happening to all of us. Now,
all of us. And they put a dollar amount on that, and the average dollar amount is about $500. It's about a $500 increase that we're paying to just survive. This is stuff that we need. It's an increase about $500.
Yeah.
So now
I can definitely
that's not in that budget, child. They don't pay me that much. That is not in my budget.
And my increase is way more than $500. That $500 is my rent alone. My rent.
And alone. Rebecca, the average cost of rent in Atlanta, $1,957 goddamn dollars.
Yep. And that's what the rent that you're talking about. It's not Atlanta. In Atlanta, it's $2,000 and up. $2,000 and up.
Easy. Easily.
$2,000 and up. I know, because all you got to do is do a Google search. The places the places there are like not even, they ain't hitting on nothing. Like they not even, but they giving you $2,000 used and abused. And also so many places in Atlanta right now, they're empty. They're empty. So they've been trying to fill them because people can't afford to live there. They're building new buildings and so many vacancies in those areas. In my area, it's funny. my sister called me. She was over here the other day, and she's leaving. She's like, girl, whose Rolls Royce truck is that? You got people who got Rolls Royce trucks, 2 Lambo trucks. There's one that's yellow on the inside, yellow on the outside, all parked out here.
Damn.
Listen, yeah, they live here because even them, they're being affected by the rent in Atlanta. So they coming out to these other sides and living out here with me. So
Charlie, I was about to say that's that PPP. That's that PPP money right there.
yeah, and
that ain't even that because them damn things cost.
Oh yeah, it's a Rolls Royce truck, not even a yes, and they're
not
all
the
out
Lambo
here.
truck, not the Porsche truck.
Yes, and the safety too. They can park it in an apartment complex and be okay. No one is going to try to break into their vehicles. We're going to look at it and move on. Have that parked in an Atlanta upscale apartment area. I have a story for that. Have that parked in an Atlanta apartment complex area. And you will see, hold on. You will see what happens with that, because I've had that conversation so many times here on the show about how people were stealing rims and stuff like that off of vehicles, and that's been a thing. Now there's a story going down at that has been circulating that the city of Atlanta is moving to shut down venues for 12 months that have 2 violent incidents within the same 2-year period. I feel like that's going to be every area, every club, every hookah lounge, every brunch spot.
So, Rebecca, that's going to be all of them spots downtown.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything.
Downtown, midtown. It's going to be every neighboring area. Buckhead.
And I'm going to tell y'all, because something similar to this happened in like when I was in college, still like early 2000s. Like me and my sister and my brother-in-law, we used to be big in the clubs, like really, really big in the clubs. So once the city of Atlanta started building up, like when all of this first started going on, they started clearing out all of those people from down there. Like the clubs used to stay open until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Hence now they only got that 3 o'clock. So that happened first. So then they started building the high rises over in the same area where the clubs were. They got mad. They shut the clubs down because they said it was too noisy. It's too much traffic. We don't like the kind of people that the area brings, basically black people. So they got rid of all of those clubs downtown. So now with this coming into play, oh yeah, man, they basically about to shut down all the stuff down there. That's crazy.
No, they are. So it says Mayor Dickens established a nightlife division to enforce liquor laws and hold bars and restaurants accountable for violence. The city is also trying to reduce bureaucracy that contributed to business floating the law. And this is a nightlife manager, Michael Paul. Every day as mayor, I get an alert anytime there's an incident, Dickens said at an April training event for bar and restaurant owners in City Hall's bright marble atrium. Because of anticipation, my body now wakes up to 2 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, and I sit there and I fool around and I think about what's going to happen. Some nights nothing happens, but some nights I get a buzz and there's a shot. And I look at the location and it's within a block or 2 of some of our nightlife establishments. Between the start of the pandemic and Dickens' inauguration in January, Atlanta experienced about 70 homicides above its pre-pandemic baseline. Almost a third of those occurred within yards of sketchy clubs. Why put sketchy clubs and restaurants? The product of spontaneous rage, gang warfare, drunken ideology. And Georgia's gun culture. At the same time as violence linked to the city's nightlife exploded, Atlanta's nightlife enforcement fell apart. A scathing report last year showed that the police unit enforcing liquor license standards was about half staff, and that recommendations to pull licenses had piled up without action on Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom's desk. Some restaurants had effectively become nightclubs by floating license standards. Other places regularly sold alcohol without a license at all, waiting to get caught. Operators of unregulated bars are more likely to look the other way while crimes occur. Meanwhile, bodies stacked up. Oh, Lord. And this was per Atlanta Magazine. So that's what we're looking at locally. And I don't know, and I believe everything in there because remember there was a shortage in law enforcement, so they just started picking up anybody off the streets, and that was a big thing during early the pandemic because a lot of people were quitting around that time, and so We saw an influx of un uh, just untrained police officers, and then we saw nightclubs.
Very much so untrained.
Yeah, we saw an influx of nightclubs that never ever were there before. They were actually brunch spots that couldn't get liquor licenses. Now all of a sudden they're opening at random times of the night and becoming a nightclub, and they're like hole in the walls. And they were over capacity many times a night. People started investing in hookahs, and that's what we were seeing more of. And there was an influx of transplants from out of town because rent, you didn't have rent. They were offering free rent for 2 months, and all you had to do was move in. And because of the moratorium, you didn't have to go anywhere for months. You could have stayed in your apartments in these luxury buildings. My partner at the time, you guys know I used to talk about him, the African King. We would he lived in a lot of these brand new buildings, and the neighbors, and I'm like, this is your neighbor? This is your How? Neighbor would be coming over asking for all kinds of groceries.
Wow.
Neighbors were making noise. Neighbors were fighting each other in the hallways. And these are the same buildings that I was seeing like NFL players living at. So it was almost like, what's happening? Who authorized this? Nobody was able to live in those buildings. So they were just saying anybody can come, thinking they would make a profit off of that. But so many of the people that they were having live in these buildings were stealing from these vehicles, stealing from neighbors, causing that area of Buckhead to now be one that nobody wanted to live in.
Now, I will say that a lot of this started during the pandemic. Like when the pandemic came along, everybody fled to Atlanta thinking that, oh, okay, everybody going to Atlanta. So when all this crime and everything started picking up, everybody from outside of Atlanta, I really think a lot of this stuff that's going on now, like you said, these are transplants. They came here thinking that it's a come up and it's a way to do what the hell they want to do, and they just started all kind of mess. Now, we'll agree with that article that these hole in the walls in all these little small ass restaurants that they're making in the clubs, get them, because if they don't have the stuff to run and operate as a club, get them. But some of these established places that have been there for a long time, and just because you in the club is in a location and your building is across the street, that club been there. Your ass just came. I really feel that you should not have the rights to try to push out a club because you living here now. This club been here for 10 years. You've just been here for a year.
It's so much of that going on, but I can't wait to see
a whole lot
of how this story will continue to develop, because if they're planning on shutting that down, just shut down all of Atlanta and call it a day, because everybody has infractions.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, y'all can't even stop the regular gun violence that's going on. So y'all trying to focus on clubs. Damn them clubs. Let's get this gun violence under control here. Yeah, all these goddamn shootings every day here in Atlanta.
They're saying that that's the reason why. Like they're saying that it both ties into the same thing. But we're gonna see how this, how the story develops. I don't know, because I don't know. Atlanta has never been Atlanta for me at any point. Maybe when I first moved here, but other than that, I don't really care to live there. But a lot of people do rely on living there for so many different reasons. For clout, one of them, but also because that's where their work is, or that's where there's a lot of names that are out there, and they're closer to helping them develop their brands. It's a lot of reasons why people go to Atlanta. But anywho, we'll see how this really turns out. So there's a update, and this was a few days ago, and I wanted to talk about this, but there were so many different angles on this. New footage that was released from Uvalde, Texas, and the footage showed an extent of which cops dropped the ball, where they were just on the phones or chilling in the hallways. So here is an update on their surveillance video of law enforcement's response during the Uvalde school massacre gives the clearest account yet of how officers waited outside an elementary classroom as the gunman continued firing, killing 21 students and teachers on May 24th. Dang, that was just the other day. I really feel like it was so long ago at this point, but it was just the other day. The video published by the Austin American-Statesman newspaper Tuesday in a decision that enraged families of the victims who had yet to see the footage themselves, shows responding officers approaching the door of the classroom within minutes of the shooter entering, yet retreating after the gunman opened fire at them. After more than an hour with the hallway growing more crowded with officers from different agencies, the doorway of the classroom was breached by law enforcement and the gunman was shot and killed. I think that was the footage. There was one of an officer on his phone.
Yeah.
And everybody was upset because they said there was a racist screensaver on his phone.
It's the Punisher logo from it's a comic book. Yeah.
Okay, so they were
So it's
saying
not racist.
so it wasn't
Yeah.
racist. So, but many people were offended by that. I don't know how they got to that. They were looking for something. But in the picture, so the floating someone around the internet, I guess, clarified who he was. He was
Yeah.
the husband of one of the teachers who was murdered. And
Yeah.
they said that as soon as they gave him the information, they took away his guns and subdued him, I guess, when he found out about the murder of his wife. So that was one of the stories of the cops. Now, it still don't, to me.
I wish we had the video, because that video would show a lot, especially with the guy getting the hand sanitizer. Like, there's another guy back there laughing and shit.
Yeah.
I wish, Josh, if we can find the video for this.
I think it was attached to what I sent, Josh.
Yeah.
The video. So, but yeah, there was somebody getting hand sanitizer. There was one guy on the phone. Again, they clarified who the guy was on the phone. But even if that's just one of the cops, what's the explanation for the other cops?
Because there was a whole lot of them. A whole lot.
While
in the
they
hallway.
were hearing gunshots in the hallway. Were they checking their phones and reading the updates while they're inside of the literally at the action and inside of the school with the active shooter, actively supposed to be protecting everybody in there? When you sign up to become a cop, and it's one of those things, like, you sign up to become a cop, you sign up to get in the military, it's a possibility that you're serving your country, you're serving your area, you're serving your community. There's a possibility that you may be harmed.
Right.
This is what you signed up for. The kids weren't trained for that, but they're instead wanting to train kids to protect themselves from a potential active shooter. They're putting on the market backpacks that are bulletproof for children to protect themselves from guns. This is what we're talking about. Why are we training our kids for something that we train police officers for?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Why are teachers having to go to different courses and trainings for a potential active shooter when there are police all around? And we see what police do in that moment. And when we hear their accounts of things, their accounts are never right.
Yeah.
Their accounts, and I can't say are never right. Most times we're hearing the accounts of a police officer and we're being told to trust their account of what happened, their truth of what happened. And when we get it on video, it's like, that's not what happened.
Right. Exactly, Rebecca. It's always that, well, this is what happened. We did this and did that. And then next thing you know, you start looking at video footage and camera footage, not the body cams, not the dash cams, but other surveillance video from like buildings and people's cell phones. Like, yeah, what you said happened really didn't happen at all.
Maybe triggering, but let's just to let you guys know, viewer discretion is advised, as this is footage from the Uvalde shooting. So take a look.
Y'all waited that long.
That was that. My heart is beating. I hate the sound of gunshots and to know that the children died from that.
Especially in a school.
Mm.
Hmm.
77 minutes, over 77 minutes. Did we see when it
That's
started? And that's why people were looking at their look at that. Now imagine people looking at their phones. The officers that were there on the ground did nothing. They were scared. And I'm not to say that I mean people are going to be scared, but you're trained for this. Your life,
mm,
your life, children's lives. I don't understand. You just hear them to wear the badge, and then after they were able to kill the when the help came in, looks like SWAT or whatever. When they came in and they were able to kill the murderer, all of a sudden the local police officers were ready to barge in and do what? They're like it's almost like, oh, let me get at him. It's 77 minutes later, baby. You were there at the beginning.
at
What
the
did you
beginning.
do? That was really sad. Ugh, that gave me that was
And
hard.
it just really sucks because just knowing how it was once everything was happening on the news, how it played out, you were thinking that okay, the time frame couldn't have been that long. Here we are. That's 77 minutes. 77. And y'all were in the school 2 or 3 minutes after he got in there. So y'all literally could have done something. It could have been a lot of lives saved, but y'all wasted the time. And then the
Don't
thing about that Punisher logo, of course, that is something that the police officers do now. They've taken that logo and painted it blue and black or whatever the hell it is. If they knew their history, they would know that Punisher was also a cop killer. He was a punishing badass who used to kill bad cops all the time. So y'all using this symbol as a symbol for y'all, y'all got that all effed up.
and
Honestly, truly.
yeah, and that's what a lot of people were honing in on. But it's for me like the cops ran up to the door and ran away. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, they ran away. Gosh.
And like really knowing that y'all this is what we are paying for. Y'all training. This is what y'all said. Y'all investing into more police training. Clearly, that shit didn't happen
Yeah.
because y'all ran away. Yet one man, it's 3 or 4 of y'all. All y'all motherfuckers could have went in there and got the goddamn gunman easily. But when he started popping off, y'all ran. Y'all got on whole ass body armor and shit, and y'all ran away. Okay, cool.
Everybody ran, and that's what I'm like. Okay, you're trained for this. Understand, like you guys have to go. It happens when it's like you have to go afraid. You're the like this is what you were trained for. The the kids were scared. The kids lost their lives. Man, I can't even. But that's y'all police. That's y'all police officers.
Y'all police,
That's y'all
right?
SWAT team. That's y'all feds. That's all. That's y'all. That's where the money goes. That's where Joe Biden said more money should be allocated.
Ain't
It's
that what he
towards
said?
towards the police officers. They need more money. I even heard Stacey Abrams mention. I mean, she has called police officers out, but I even heard her say, allocating funds to police officers because they don't make enough money. But here we are. This is what we're training. These are our police officers. This is who we defend and who we as America, I'm talking about as a whole, defend with the thin blue line conversation. Right. And they're saying that they're here to, what do police do? They're here to serve and protect. What did we see in that video? Did I see any serving? Did I see any protection? Nothing. That was just May 24th. That was just May 24th. Today is July 14th. And so that was the other day. We're here. And since then, we've experienced other shootings since, massacres. So many, too many today. I can't even wrap my mind around. Most recently, we had July 4th, 10 days ago. The Boston not marathon, but there was a massacre at the July
The
4th. And where
parade.
was it? Yeah, the parade.
What area was that? Oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Highland
Highland
Park.
Park, Illinois. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so look, there's so many. I can't, my mind can't keep up.
They all run together, Rebecca. They really do.
My mind can't keep up. Uvalde police officers and everybody else, all these police officers, this is a warning to you. And yesterday I had reposted that anytime a cop shares their testimony at any point in time, we should roll that footage. We should roll that footage to show you that, does your testimony match this? Because does your truth match this truth on video?
Right.
You guys tend to lie so much. Y'all do nothing. And this is why we say defund the police. Defund the police. If we're gonna fund them in some actual training. If they're going to serve and protect, this is what you chose to do. This is what you chose to do. This was what you guys chose to sign up and do, and you aren't doing it. There is no serving and protecting at all. You can't just have a gun and a badge and think that we have to bow down at your feet, because this is what police officers are doing. They're abusing their authority. That's all we see. But when stuff hits the fan and they're supposed to actually go in and do the work and protect us, we don't see that at all. We don't see that at all. So
and also to let y'all know that with that video, they did scrub the
sound
children screaming. Yeah, the sound of the children screaming, and
it's still
Rebecca,
that was hard to watch.
Yeah. So can you imagine watching that with that in there?
Never.
My God, never. I could not.
I never watched the video. I watched that only in like stills. I could never watch a video. Like, I know you guys, you know, we have to show some things because of for reference and things like that. But there are some things that I just don't like to show on this show, and I do make that, you know, executive decision not to show it, because I know, you know, we all know what we're dealing with. We're still dealing with hearing gunshots from July 4th and hearing gunshots. It's like we're still remembering what we just saw on television. I'm still looking back at George Floyd and remembering Anitu is that, like, these things are very, very triggering. So, but you know, but we wanted to get context. So as disgusted as you are watching that, as disgusted as we are talking about it and hearing it, and the fact that the children's screams were scrubbed, and all we had to hear was the gunshots that were not coming from the Uvalde police in that time, but from inside that classroom. Yeah. So there goes y'all police officers. That's y'all police officers.
Because they out here killing people in the middle of the street because they don't know how to handle mental health issues. Yeah.
Well, speaking of racism, because cops are racist. Speaking of racism, we're going to move on to this story. It's a study that shows less young white adults care about racial inequality, racial apathy on the rise in America. A new study has found a rise in racial apathy, and in other words, not caring about racial inequality among white adults. Racial apathy and the belief that Black people no longer experience prejudice in today's world represent the new racism, according to Tony Brown, professor of sociology at Rice University. Professor Brown led a study over 5 years focusing on changes in racial apathy among white young adults, which was published in the journal Sociological Inquiry. He and his co-authors argue that racial apathy is just as harmful as outwardly hostile hate, because it tends to absolve whites of responsibility for racism. In the time of Jim Crow, there was blatant hatred and blatant acts of discrimination, he said. Now, today, Racial apathy says basically, I don't care about racism. It's not my issue. It's a subtle and more socially acceptable. The paper used survey panel data from young white adults over a 5-year period to assess changes in racial apathy by analyzing variables such as social background, social values, academic orientation, and interracial contact that should predict changes in apathy. For example, the authors found it's more likely racial apathy influences sorry, my eyes be hurting from the blue light on my computer, influences someone's political ideology as opposed to the reverse. The authors concluded from the analysis that interracial friendships can both challenge and support racial apathy. Saying racial apathy is bothering me. They also theorized that social media has created superficial or performative interracial relationships that make young white people feel like they've done enough to abate racism. It's true. They also argue the current movement to ban books or legislate how schools can talk about racism could produce young white adults who don't fully understand or care about racial inequality. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to grab my glasses because my eyes are hurting. So I'll be right back.
Yeah, with this, yeah. The Generation Zers and some of the millennials, I really think they have it in their head that some of this stuff doesn't bother them or doesn't affect them. And it's not until it's on their doorstep that they really feel some way about it. But I really feel like some of the younger generations, that's how they feel. They're just like, well, it's not here, that nothing's ever happened to me, so it doesn't bother me any.
Yeah.
But no, it bothers all of us.
Very much so. Listen, I know that specifically for Generation Z, and I can't say specifically for Generation Z, I gotta say millennials too. They wanted to use this excuse as well as to where we, hey, we kind of are at a place where racism is that like I'm not the one, my parents aren't the one, it's a generation before us. These are the excuses that we're seeing. And I will say TikTok has definitely played a part in that. They have no kind of understanding, no reading the room, no sensibility. You'll see one TikTok from a person that will say, my mom's racist. Remember at that time we saw a lot of them putting out their parents for being racist. And that's why I'm like, this is just a fad. This is just and everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, y'all keep giving these kids their flowers right now. And this is just popularized on TikTok. The next videos you'll see from that same person in this day and age is them basically saying NIGG with the hard ER on their lyrics while they're imitating our dances and things like that and saying, why can't they say it? They aren't racist. If you look at their past videos, they've called out their parents for being racist. Their political side is very, very left-leaning. They're liberal thinkers. Some of them call themselves free thinkers, neoliberals, all of that stuff. But you'll see them and they'll say, I don't think, we should keep talking about racism in that way because I'm not racist, So again, it's still a racist ideal because it's the same thing your parents thought at one point. Racism isn't today. Racism was about, at the time, they'll say 300 something years ago. Racism was such and such, at that time. And because I have Black friends, this is what that equates to. So I don't think and a lot of times it's not that we're asking you to do anything for us. Just don't be racist. That's pretty much it. But if you're going to be racist too, that's your life. But don't get on here and say, I should be able to do X, Y, and Z because I'm not racist, or because I called out racism at a point in time, or because racism isn't really a thing right now in America. Like, we're all just trying to live. Like, it's affecting everyone. Listen to the conversation that I had with a rich white woman on the Hill, and then there's me. Right? Again, I like to think in my mind that I'm a rich Black woman. And if I'm a rich white woman, I'll be the Kardashian mama. But
right.
But listen to the conversation. I'm complaining about in this economy, and of course the inflation does affect African Americans at a way larger rate, at a disproportionate rate than it does white people. And I discussed that on the show as well. But my conversation includes I'm hungry.
Mm.
Can't get nowhere because gas is too pricey. Can't go visit my parents because I can't hop on a plane and just do that, and I don't have the gas to get in my car and do that. I can't afford to buy groceries, and I can't afford to really go look for a house which will suit me better, so that I can have an office and everything like that. I can't go do that. I just have to continuously pay rent as if I'm living in a home, because that's what I can do. And even though rent has gone up, God knows how much, that's my conversation. And you hear the white woman who says, I can't buy a Tesla and I can't go on vacation.
We are not the same.
We are not the same. So don't you ever come out of your mouth. And I don't care what year you're from. And just because it's now and they're calling it racial apathy, and it's true, young white Americans don't care too much about racism. They will join the movement so that they can post it on TikTok. Now we see that a lot of societal issues and protests that are happening, they are being there. People are capitalizing off of them.
Yeah.
We see that so much. And if a white person says they're down for the team in that moment, they're down for the team because they use their social, their space to say that they went to this particular rally or protest and they took a photo, made sure the photo was beautifully done, matched it with the caption, a beautiful song in the background, and there we go.
Yeah.
I don't mind that though. But then it's like, what are you doing after that? They think that they get the chance to say racism isn't really a thing right now. Like we're all just trying to live. Like COVID is affecting everyone. Like we're all Roe versus Wade is affecting everyone, and we're just really trying to. All of these things are affecting everyone, but Black folks are getting affected at a larger, quicker, more blatant rate.
And let me add to that. More OJ just said something. I've met Black Gen Z who actually have that same type of thinking, and I was actually going to say that as well too.
Yeah,
you have the younger Black generation who feel that they're not this. It doesn't exist. That they're not going through anything. Like my God, like why do you have these blinded up? That's what it is, because you want to be a creative so bad and make this TikTok money and go viral. So you're going to say that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I just don't see how. Did you not go learn your history? I get so confused sometimes when other Black people don't look at this stuff like this. Like, how do y'all not see slavery happen? How do y'all not see a white man putting his knee on a Black man's neck? How do you not see a Black man getting gunned down in the street by another white cops and not think that is racism? How do you not see Karen call a Black man nigger on TV or on a video? Come on, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I do see it from. We tried it. It didn't work. Because you know what happened? A lot of millennials tried to have that talking point in some which way, shape, or form. You know what happened? Life happened. We started seeing that in careers. A lot of Black millennials started saying, "Dang, I'm being called out because I'm Black." We started seeing that in the places that we started to live in, these upscale spots. Dang, I'm being pushed out because I'm Black. We started seeing when we go to the grocery store in certain areas. We started saying, wow, dang, they're just trying to disrespect my child in this grocery store because I'm Black. We started seeing that. So the conversation started growing and we started building and mobilizing and creating community around that, because we started understanding no matter what in this world and how America tried to make us almost forget that these issues are affecting us head on, it ain't over. This new generation, I do see on Black and white, are trying to, it's almost like they're living in La La Land.
Yes.
And
Rebecca, you said it, Rebecca, though. It's just like when it's not going, they're not going to see it until it's in their face, until they started getting pushed out of these circles that they were once a part of. Y'all, you're going to start realizing and see it. And I hate that you're going to have to go through it, but you're going to have to go through it so you can learn.
We all had to go through it to understand.
Yes.
And we were actually in the real world with this whole thing. You guys are experiencing it through social media, so you get to copy and paste a lot of what you see and then go out and protest with it, and then go back into your home. Like, you ain't really outside with this. And that's where we are with this. I'm not knocking Generation Z. I love a lot of what they do. And
Yeah,
I know that they
absolutely.
can, I know that they kept saying, this is the future. They're still children and they're still learning. So we can't keep expecting them to be like, racism is bad. No, they're at a space right now where they're totally unaware, because they just are. None of them are experiencing college on campus as they used to anymore.
Yep,
To have
right.
those conversations.
Mm.
It's you are a creative, and talking points now, even though if it's not your belief with this talking point, you're just gonna go with what is trending. And if you put
Yeah.
what is trending on your
Yep.
social media space, you get the money. That's where we are today. So easily, Bubba, saying and believing that racism isn't really is not even a problem right now, and that inequality is a thing of the past, or it's an issue that doesn't have to be at the top of the agenda. That is going to get you numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get you numbers. We see what people are doing on social media right now, creating fake scenarios that are affecting our community, that are affecting the white community, this fake scenarios that make no sense. Social
Right.
media is a space where this generation, our generation, I even seen people in their 45s plus actually
Speak on it.
taking the same way to create conversations on social media. I mean, like, it's the talking points are terrible, but this is what gets you paid. You got to go with these talking points. You got to go with these ideas. And the worst part about it is the audience in this space eat it up. Even though that's not what the creative believes, but because they were able to cover it on their channel, that particular audience will eat it up, feed it, repost it millions and millions and millions of times. And that creative will now get reached out by brands. And if they continue that talking point that does not benefit at all, they will continue to grow. This is where we are today. This is where we are today. So,
Woo,
yeah.
girl. And then we can literally talk about this all day, because even with the Roe versus Wade being overturned, looking at some of the clips, and you're seeing some of the people that are out there that was for all of this, it's just like, yo, are you serious right now? Are you really out here? Like, maybe one day you'll learn. One day you'll learn. That's all I can say, is one day you will learn, just like all of us did. But I was fortunate enough, and Rebecca, I know you too, to have parents that instilled in us. Even my grandmother and my aunties and older generation instilled in me what happened and what they went through and all the stuff that they did. And that really did something for me. Just knowing that my grandmother marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, marched in Selma, sat on that bus as well too, cleaned the white woman's house when she was younger. It's stuff like that that makes me like, okay, I'm proud to be Black. I know where I came from and the shit that we had to go through to fight just to be where we are today. Yeah. And it made me appreciate that. And I just hope that one day these kids, they listen to that and they just take it to heart, man. We've been through a lot and still going through.
And I think millennials are getting hit the hardest. I know we're millennials and we're getting hit the hardest in this. We've seen so much. And Bubba, you're 10 years older than me, and you've seen more than me. And you're still a part of the millennial crew, and we've all been so affected.
Gen X, baby. Gen X, baby.
You was a baby, okay, at that time. You didn't have a job. You didn't have a job. You are the oldest millennial, okay? You were
we are in the Gen X category. I am officially
you didn't have
Gen X.
bills.
It's okay. I'm still Gen X. Gen X is like 76 to.
And what year were you born?
78.
Exactly.
It's like to 80. It's like to 82, 83.
Ben was born what, 80?
Yeah.
So
Ben's he's a millennial. Yeah, I'm Gen X.
Yeah,
I'm Gen X.
But you're like 3 years older than him.
Yeah, I'm still Gen X though.
We ain't gonna get on that.
I literally fall into the Gen X category.
Yes, but
Look
you
it-
were
look it
still
up.
in diapers. Nobody cared about what you had. You didn't have any bills. You didn't suffer from any
It
of
didn't
that.
matter. We still Gen X is the ones that's laid this foundation for y'all.
Okay, that's
If you
okay.
really
I'll
think
take
about
it.
it,
I'll take it.
yeah.
I have nothing. We forget about Gen X. Nobody talks about Generation
Yeah,
X.
the only way we remember it now is because the damn kids that we didn't had is now effing stuff up.
Yeah, listen, nobody remembers Generation X because it's blended really into the millennial community. We're all
Yeah,
one.
we had
So
because we had a chance to experience literally everything. If you
yeah,
really think about it, Gen X had a chance to experience everything, and
yeah,
that's why I love it so much.
and that's why. But I feel like millennials, we had a chance to experience everything, but like from birth, we came out. Everything seemed to be good. They snatched everything away from us. We started having to deal with racism on the like rise, and
Yeah,
like the video cameras. First, now we were able to do like see Rodney King. We see, and we had to deal with so much. We thought that going to school was going to pay our bills. We thought that really was going to be a thing. We thought that when we get out, we were going to get better homes than our parents. Like, and
yeah,
just like, we thought that that was going to be a thing. We worked so hard, and they told us that now your credentials mean absolutely nothing. That degree means really nothing. Now you really need to be famous. Like, look to be famous to make money. Like, you need to be famous. And we made that space for these new kids right now that are becoming famous. MySpace, HTML codes, we taught ourselves. We didn't go to school for that. We taught
right.
ourselves HTML codes and how to put it together. AOL. We was
Ooh.
over there talking to creeps online before everybody
Online.
else.
Now I will say y'all probably got it the worst. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Now what I just read
before we got
right
out, we had
here
to experience recession. Before it was like we didn't have no
before
job.
was a thing. When I tell y'all got it bad. When they tell us this generation is on track to become the first generation to be worse off in terms of being prepared for retirement than their parents. Damn, y'all made me just feel like, okay, I ain't shit.
Millennials, of course.
Generation X, y'all just got a lot.
It's
I'm sorry for
terrible.
y'all.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
they expect us to have kids. They done took away. They expect us to have kids. Kids that nobody. We can't afford ourselves, and you want
Right.
us to have kids. We're over here. People are saying, "Oh, it's time to save. It's time to save." I can't save. When I look at how my parents lived their life, they were able to buy a house and do all this stuff, and now they're being affected by what's going on in their older age, y'all. In their older age, my mom kept telling me, buy a house, buy a house. You need to buy a house, you buy a house. I kept telling her, Mama, I can't afford to buy a house. I can't afford to buy a house, Mama. I can't afford to buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. Because for them, they're looking like when I was getting paid 1 cent an hour, I was able to save up in 6 months and put down for a house. Mama, it don't work like that, because now even though somebody may be getting paid $20 or up an hour, even though minimum wage is like $7 and what's 25 cents still, but
Right.
if somebody is getting paid $20 an hour, it still won't match nothing, because housing will it's 10 times what you're getting paid in rent and mortgage. You bought the land is going to sit there because you can't afford to build on it.
Exactly.
Everything, literally, the math doesn't math at all for us. We can't save 6 months. You know why? Our rainy days are coming every 3 days. Every 3 days.
Until at this point, every goddamn day.
Okay? So I just say that because it's hard for a millennial out here. It's hard. And then they're expecting us to be like, oh, y'all go on trips, y'all do this. Yes, we are the generation that will save to go on a trip, because we don't know what life is going to look like for us tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't.
That's real.
We don't.
That's real.
Generation Z does benefit from being content creators, so they can get all this money. They can get all this money. We don't always want to be content creators. Millennials is like, we want to create content and then we want to go to sleep. And we want to be able to relax. We don't want to be forced to create content every single day. Like, and that's our lives. We care about our mental health. We're not going to complain about only being a Pisces, or only because that sign. I don't know. That sign is crazy. A Pisces and a Leo. We're not only going to complain about that because we know we got to get up and work for something. We're going to work, but also we're going to make sure we take our days off, and we're going to make sure we call out sick if we're sick, even if we ain't got the time. because mental health
Rebecca,
matters.
when I tell you, you is spilling. This is when I tell you that is every millennial I know.
That's how we are. Because Generation Z would be like, I don't even want to work because my fingers hurt. Like, Mom, I need to come back and live with you so I can just make some more content and then move out.
But you know what? I do give millennial energy because I'll call off in a minute. If I do something like, you know what? I ain't feeling it today. I'm calling out. So I give you that. I say that.
We were the ones that worked like when we were like, what, 10? Like we started working to build our future. And then we saw that it didn't work out for us. So we're like, you know what? I am going to work. I'm going to do the damn job that I don't want to do. But I'm also going to take my damn time off because my mental health matters. We actually didn't know that we were going through mental crisis. Like we didn't know. We did not know that. And then when we found out and we were like, hell no, I'm going to live and not die. I got too many of my friends who were out here I know people who've taken their lives that we thought were living good lives, y'all. That's crazy. And we said, no, we will live and not die. So, y'all. Yeah, because, no. So don't even come for no. So anyways, all that to say, it's all of our generations that have had this conversation that somebody at some point in the black and white community have said, oh, inequality is not even a thing until it got real. Until it got real.
Knock on that goddamn door.
Knocking at your door. And I would say that is every generation, to be honest. It is. Generation Z just happens to be more coddled. And all they have to do is really, like, they haven't really been head on with a lot of this stuff. That's why when it does hit them, they don't know what to do. The conversation right now is, oh, we're equal and we get to go to concerts together and, we get to do this together and we, all of that. It's because you're being raised in the suburbs, a lot of these kids. And, so it's like, they don't have these battles. They don't really go to, it's just not that thing. I love how they can use their platforms. Don't get me wrong. I love that they're very much creative and that people are motivating them to be more creative. I love that about them. But when it comes to this, they are unaware. They're on because nobody has really experienced or is experiencing racism. So they get to have this conversation right now. But baby, don't worry. Your time is coming.
It's coming. And like I said, we'll be here when you need us. But
we'll be here. We'll be here.
We're gonna let you something. Just know that you're gonna get a I told you so.
I'm just gonna come on, baby.
I'm from that generation that'll do it. I'm gonna be like, I told you so.
Yeah, and we're gonna be like, just come on, just come on.
Right.
We know. Come on. Because we let everybody in. We're just like, y'all talk about us like a dog. And it's funny because and we're gonna leave after this conversation. It's funny because I remember Ben, me, and that younger guy from Chicago, I forgot his name, Jamal, on the show, Jamal on the show. And we all got into it. And Ben was basically dismissing the millennials. And that was my problem because at the time
I remember that.
And he just dismissed. I was 30 years old. And at the time, I was just like, and I'm like, I don't mean to get into a heated debate with you. It's not, let the Generation Z be kids. You guys are putting a title on Generation Z right now that they can't carry. They're children. And millennials, we're trying to make piece things together. And you guys are counting us out because why? There was no reason. And, it was funny. But now, I'm able to have the conversation. I'm only 32 years old. I'm expected to have kids and to pay my mortgage and to pay my rent and to feed them and to be living in a mansion that I can't afford. They think because I do this show, I'm a billionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm this and that. They think because I do this show, I'm getting paid from some kind of I don't know where. And I'm telling them, no, this show I love to do. I do it because it's my heart and my soul. It's my job. Right. But I have to have another job to sustain me. That's the millennials' truth. That's the truth. Things are not just handed to us or fall into our lap, but it also doesn't make us incapable of the fight. It doesn't make us used and thrown out. We're only 32. I mean, Generation X is only in their 40s. They're not old either. And a lot of us have missed out on life because we're just learning to unlearn a lot of the things that we grew up doing and believing. We're just getting into that time. So every generation we've benefited from in some way, shape, or form. every
Yeah.
single generation. And I don't like, and that was my argument. I don't like that they're counting the millennials out because Generation Z is here, but Generation Z just got out of school. They just got the milk off their tongue, and you're expecting so much of them. Let them be children. And that's what my argument was at the time. But I love y'all so much. We're at the end of the show, baby. We at the
That
end of the
damn
show.
Gen Z boy. That damn Gen Z. And actually, Gen Z is our kids. The 90s, the 70s babies, 70s, 80s babies.
My girlfriend, who's 32, I mean, she had her baby young. My girlfriend who's 32, she has a 15-year-old. She is a millennial with a Generation Z baby.
Oh, it's God, yes.
It's so
Jesus.
It's so
you are absolutely right, though, Rebecca. That's crazy. It's like babies raising babies.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And they're expecting that. And for so many generations, it has been babies raising babies.
Yeah,
and I think millennials are at the point where we're like, stop, get off my uterus, tying it up. I can have a baby when I'm 40 if I want to. I can have a baby when I expect to have a baby when I want to. When I am ready and willing to have a baby, or if I choose to have my child, it should be my choice. Like we're at that time because they're like, oh, why is millennials? Why aren't there marriages? And why aren't there babies? There is no marriages because, listen, I'm not about to be in a relationship in this day and age where it's stressful. People are saying that, or I don't want to be in a relationship right now because X, Y. We're stressed. And the best we can do is not stress by going on vacations. Shoot. That's what we're doing. We're going on vacations, and vacations look like going up the street to the pool. It might look like that. We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can, baby.
You let me do what we can, baby.
Well, I had to go. I'm 32. I ain't old, but they'll say that we're old. At 32, y'all, you know why my eyes are messed up? Because of my phone for work.
Yeah.
And because of my computer. I'm on it all day. I'm on it all day. My eyes are messed up. I got astigmatism in one eye, and the other eye just cannot take a blue light to save its life. So now I had to get me some glasses to handle that. It's not. You got people in their mid-20s having the whole conversation about blue light glasses. It doesn't make you old. It's just our lives right now, guys. Everything is affecting us in some way, shape, or form. We're getting older. We're not old. We're getting older. We're not old.
Gen Z consider me ancient at 43 because my niece, my niece be like, "Oh, you are so old. What the hell? I'm only 43. It's not that bad."
My mama was like 32, and I'm like, oh my God, old lady. And now I'm 32. I have no kids. Like, I'm still trying to figure out my life. Like, we're just kids that are getting older, trying to figure out life every single day. And I will give all the time. I'll say this and we'll end the show. I will give credit where it is due. And I think every generation has credit where it is due. We just have to, I think we have to come to a time where we stop disrespecting each other. I see these arguments. I remember I was a part of the arguments about 5-6 years ago. I was like, oh, boomers and this. Boomers are going to be stuck in their ways. It is what it is. They're suffering too, seeing a lot of the work that they put forth being taken away from them, stripped away from them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You know, my dad every day, I feel like he's going through a depression because he's like, I've been working my whole entire life to be told this is what you're going to get, pennies on a dollar for if you decide to stop working. They want to work him till his bones break. And he's depressed. When COVID came, the boomers were really sad. They thought that it was coming to get them first. You see what I'm saying? We're all experiencing something in this world, you guys. We really are. Be kind to one another, love each other, and make sure that you understand that you are going to live and not die. You are going to live and not die. If you are depressed or anything is going through your mind, please call that hotline. What was it? 988? What is it?
988. Yep, that's the new national number now that they have. They shorten it. So 988. 988.
Please call that number if you're ever feeling any kind of way. Also, you guys know what it is. It's the summertime where you're having a good time with us over here. We may not hold you for a long time, but just know it's going to be a good time. Today is our Friday for the week as far as when it comes to the show. So happy Thursday, Friday Junior for you guys. And you know we're doing this for the Frizzle. We We appreciate everybody already who has given, who is giving, who is a patron, and who is supporting us every single day. If you do want to become a patron, please, or patron, please visit us at patreon.com/like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not. And if you would love to give to us instantly, which also helps us in this time that we are doing this for
hello,
the
somebody.
please cash app us. Selling ass on the cash. Please cash app us at Becca's Voice and at DJ X3C. Again, that's Becca's Voice and DJ X3C. Laura Estrada, I did get my cocktail money. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to Laura Estrada. Also, Latif, who's always making sure that we eat tacos weekly. Love and appreciate you, Latif. And everybody who has given thus far. I love you guys so much. Mean that with everything in me. You guys are very supportive for us, and you guys have been rocking with us. We've been pretty consistent. We've been pretty consistent. You guys can't say that we haven't, okay, during these summer months.
Rebecca, when I tell you, we need to start making shirts. Hashtag I am the porn. Now we got a new one, cash ass.
Why did I say
cash ass?
So if anybody wants to donate to us some shirts, we can do that, because we ain't I was looking at the prices and I'm like, dang, as much as I want to do mugs and shirts, we can't afford it. So if you want to help us with that, donate some mugs or shirts, or donate for us to get those, again, cash app Becca's Voice, cash app DJ X3C, or become a Patreon. However, this all helps us support to get some gear. I would love to get us some gear and have you guys sipping with us in some Like It or Not mugs. That would be great. That would be great. This weekend, I will be going to the Stellar Awards. I think that's a gospel music. Yeah, I'll be going to the Stellar Awards. I'm excited about that. I had to get my own ticket. I also, that's okay. That's okay. I did sign up for Like It or Not to do media, but we won't be able to do media because you won't be here, Bubba. But
I know
I still can definitely put together something for you guys to get a recap of the award show. So look forward to that.
That'll be dope.
Yeah, look forward to that. I love you guys so much. And enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you guys on Monday. I love you guys.
Everybody want this cash ass shirt. That's all I see in the chat.
I need that.
Cash
so if I want to go ahead and donate shirts with cash ass on it, reach out.
Look, I might have a t-shirt maker that I know. So stay tuned, Becca. Okay,
right,
let me know what color shirt you want.
I'm with it. Bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much again for tuning in today. Shout out Infinite Content as well, too. Industrial Arts, man. Good seeing y'all. Your affirmation for today. I like to remember the things I am grateful for every day. I like to remember the things I am grateful for every day. Y'all gonna be great, man. Happy Friday Eve. Friday Junior, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself and one another. And we will see y'all on Tuesday. Deuces. Love y'all. Mean it. Bye.
What happened to euphoria?